Alright, today we're covering Drake and PND's new album, how to make some R&B vocal samples just in their style, similar to the songs like Deeper or Greedy, just that real melodic ambient style. Without further ado, let's go straight into it. So here I am in the project file. I'm going to be breaking this down and covering over 3 main topics. You got sound selection, you have vocals, and then simplicity. But let's just first start with the foundation, the sounds I used, and the MIDIs. So right off the bat with sound selection, I did not choose a single sound with very harsh high end. I chose a bunch of very ambient type of sounds that are all very smooth and blend in with each other. For this whole sample, I used the June 6 from Artoria, and the first preset I use is this classic R&B sign pad. This is a custom preset that I went and made, but you guys could just copy the exact same settings and you should have the same sound. And as far as the advanced effects, I took the reverb and delay off and I just manually added some of my own delay. Now the reason why I chose to go over sound selection instead of the actual notes and the MIDI is because the MIDI is so easy to replicate. So if you go up here, click this purple button, minor ninth, you'll have this chord. Now for my sample, I did the C sharp minor scale, and all I did was I deleted the bottom note. So I have these 4 notes. I brought them all down for the second section. I just kept them all in scale, and that's pretty much it. After that, I took these down 2 semitones, then I copied this over again for the last chord. I just took this F sharp up an octave, just kind of layering the same notes over to make it sound a little more full. That's it. The MIDI is extremely simple. The sound is what really carries. Now that I had the foundation, it was still very static and it just had no movement, so I wanted to add a catchy little pattern or melody on top that the listener could just follow with. So I went to the June again and I used this preset right here. Again, very ambient, no harsh attack. And as far as the notes that I use, it's just this simple pattern copied over, and I just followed the same exact notes from the original chord. So like I said, for this sample, I wanted it to be very ambient, so I added a lot of reverb and delays throughout the sample. And I just did a very simple free delay 3, 1/4, and then just a compressor. That's it. Now for the third melody, it's very tucked in and quiet in the background, but I chose this preset again, and it just adds a little bit of ambience and texture in the back. And again, I wanted everything to sound very smooth and ambient, so I just drenched it with reverb. A very simple EQ just shaping the sound, and then down here as well, took out these lows. Now before I added another lead, I wanted to give a little more of that bass and fuller sound to the sample, so I just layered the same notes with another pad, and I used the June 6 again with this iconic strings. Like I said, it's the same exact notes. I just have this little top melody up here for the listener to kind of follow and guide them throughout the entire pattern. And as far as the effects, I'm on the same exact mixer chain as the previous sound. Now last but not least, for the foundation, I added this one more sound that in my opinion was crucial for that PND vibe. Added a lot of ambience and texture in the background. 4 very simple notes tucked in the background. again, this is why I think sound selection is so crucial for these type of melodies. I'm literally only playing 4 notes, but the sound is just so perfect for this type of sample, this type of vibe, that it does this job perfectly in the background. As far as effects, drench it with delay. I have this 1/4 delay and then a lot of reverb as well. And then just a pancake, just having it pan left and right, give a little bit of movement and separate itself from the previous sounds. Now that's pretty much it for the whole foundation. That's pretty much the core of the sample. Before we get into the part that a lot of you guys probably want to see is the vocals, I added a very simple like B section. Here's how it sounds. Now for this section, I just copied the leads and replaced the main chords with this phrase right here. All I did was I reversed it and I matched the key, and then I used the time stretch to make it half time and a lot slower, and this made it be a lot more smooth. And this phrase is from my chroma gallery kit. I'll leave a link in the description. It's basically a phrase kit with over 200 phrases I made with the chroma console pedal, perfect for that analog vintage type of sound. This kit is currently on sale, so if you guys do want to check it out, it'll be the first link in the description down below. But as far as the effects, I just had this compressor on it, and then I took out the lows and I panned it a tiny bit to the right. For the second half, I copied the phrase over. All I did was I clicked make unique, and then this one is up an octave. That's pretty much it for the sample. Now we move on to the vocals. Now to make your own vocals in this style, it's very simple, and I'm gonna break it down with 3 easy steps. You have the recording process and like the techniques of actually recording the phrases. You have the chopping process, and then the processing process, like the effects and stuff. Now as far as recording the vocals, all I had was a NS1 stereo, and I'm using the same mic that you hear me using right now. I just have this on to remove a little bit of noise, and then I have this auto tune, M Auto Pitch, which is actually free. You guys can go get it yourself. I just made sure I put the right key, and I turned the auto tune down to about 24% just so it's not so strong. Now the most crucial part to getting this type of sound is vary speed. The final BPM of this sample is 92, but I recorded these at 40 BPM. Now onto the second part, making vocals, is the chopping process. As you can see, it's just a bunch of little chops, little takes that I take from the huge long recording. As you can tell, the main catchy part of the vocal is this part right here. That repeats several times throughout the vocal, and there's actually a harmony that I added. After that, I just took little bits and pieces to add in the background to make it sound more full. My best advice when it comes to chopping is clicking little phrases and doing make unique and panning certain sounds left and right. As you can see right here on the channel rack, I have a bunch of vocals panned to the left, a bunch panned to the right, some in the middle, and this will give every vocal its own little pocket. And if you want to make harmonies yourself, like I said, I just clicked the make unique and I pitched this one up 5 semitones. And another thing I like to do is mess with the Stretch Pro. Now this is kind of like a format shifter, and it's a very easy way to take a very boring vocal like this into something more full like this. But that's pretty much it for like the chopping part. Next is the processing, which a lot of you guys probably want to see next. The better your recording sounds, the less processing you need. For this, all I have is again a noise suppressor. I have a little bit of chorus and then a EQ. This is the main part that's kind of filtering out, shaping the vocals just so it's not standing out too much. I have a delay to go with that ambient effect, and then compressor. All you really need is EQ, compressor, and some sort of delay or reverb. That's pretty much it. But overall, that's pretty much it. If you guys want to get the Chroma Gallery kit, currently on sale, over 200 phrases, all made with the Chroma Console guitar pedal. It'll be the first link in the description down below. But overall, that's pretty much the entire sample. I ended up exporting it, sped it up, and I pitched it up, and then this is the final sample.